They're back, but not as Earth's saviors. This time, the Suicide Squad's got a license to kill the Justice League. Yup, you heard that right. Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, the whole twisted crew, unleashed on Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Sounds insane, right? Well, buckle up, because Kill the Justice League is raising some red flags bigger than Brainiac's skull ship. From Darkseid's shadow to Waller's twisted game, here are the 10 biggest concerns that have us sweating like Killer Croc in a hot tub. Can the squad actually take down the League? Is this a suicide mission or a masterstroke of manipulation? And what role in the cosmic chaos is Joker's playing in all this? Trust us, it's not just about Harley's next explosive bauble. Suicide Squad. KTGL follows Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark as they traverse Metropolis and hunt down brainwashed members of the Justice League. But between the live service battle pass and the online requirements, fans have begun to question Rocksteady's motives. The first problem we all have is that this game can only be played online. One of the worst things about Suicide Squad, KTGL, is that you will always need to be online to play it. GameSpot says that you need to be connected to the internet all the time to play the game, whether you're playing alone or with other people. The new online condition is very different from the single-player only Arkham games, and players in rural places who can't connect to the internet or have shaky connections will be very angry about it. The rule that you can only play online is part of a much bigger live service gameplay design that has a lot of fans angry. Co-op mode is another concern we have. As was already said, Suicide Squad, KTS will have a 4-player co-op mode, making the whole game more like an open-world RPG with superpowers. It will be the first game in the famous Arkham series to have this feature. You can play the game by yourself, but it's more about working together as a team. This is very different from the single-player mode that Rocksteady made so good in the previous games. The feature will include social media accounts and matching AI for co-op mode. You will also need to be connected to the internet to play co-op mode. It's clear that this makes gamers who don't use social media much less likely to be included. Another problem is the third-person shooter RPG elements. The poor Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is a big change from the best parts of the Arkham series. Before, these games pretty much mastered the action-adventure recipe for single-player games and helped change the way 3D character action games are played. The switch to an online shooter will annoy people who love the first few Arkham games. KTL also doesn't feel like a real Arkham update because the latest game is a third-person shooter with a lot of focus on looting and long-range attacks. Instead, it feels more like a general action RPG like Gotham Knights. It seems like a lot of players don't like this new feature, especially since the last few Rocksteady games were more about sneaky strategy and intense close fighting. Another concern is the live service Battle Pass and online store. Battle Pass will be a part of Suicide Squad, KTGL's live service. It will let you get new gear, emotes, and other items through an online shop. For the Battle Pass things to be cosmetic only and not affect gameplay, Rocksteady Studios says players will have to pay for a special tier. There will be a free Battle Pass option for players, but many gamers are worried that KTGL will become too much like Destiny 2 and Marvel Avengers, which got a lot of bad press for having too many microtransactions that cost a lot of money but don't give players much in return. The weapon features also make no sense. One thing that makes the best DC video games so popular is that each character has their own set of fighting tools that are made for intense, close combat. That function is gone from KTGS though. Instead, each character gets a set of guns that they can use for long-range attacks. The most frustrating thing about this feature is that characters like Captain Boomerang can't use their signature weapons like trick boomerangs. Instead, they have to use a powerful gun to defeat the Justice League. This goes against the character's comic book roots and takes away from what makes them special. Nothing is worse for gamers than having to wait 6 months to buy a bunch of guns for Harley Quinn. The arbitrary gear scores are also one of the problems. KTL has a lot of unfair gear numbers and color-coded percentage points that make collecting items and customizing your character not fun at all. These are part of the game's poor RPG elements and in-game purchases. For example, when a player wants to improve a piece of gear, they'll be stuck between choices like a 2.4% higher damage rate or a 6.5% longer weapon range. They'll have to do math on the spot to figure out how to combine upgrades. Being flooded with random percentage-based outfit changes that don't make much of a difference on the battlefield is the worst thing that can happen. It's confusing, takes a lot of time, and is just plain boring. Another thing that doesn't fit right with us, the poor melee mechanics. Unfortunately, Suicide Squad KTJL lost the great fighting techniques that made the first Arkham games so fun to play again and again by focusing on gun collection and third-person shooter RPG aspects. All three Arkham games let you play as different characters, and each had their own special moves for fighting. The close quarters fighting was smooth, physical, sensory, and really painful. But in KTJL, the kicks and punches during CQC are soft and squishy, making it look like the characters are fighting nothing but air. This makes the game feel like it's from a completely different series. It's good that Rocksteady is trying something new this time, but many gamers are confused about why the changes they made to fighting fixed something that wasn't broken in the first place. There is a lack of character customization. There aren't many ways to tell one character from another in battle, even though the game says that characters can customize a lot of different guns. When you play as Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark, or Captain Boomerang, the only way to really make them different is to move around the city like a superhero. When people play as characters, the outcome is always the same. All four characters do is fly and shoot guns around Metropolis. They don't have any special skills that make the best DC criminals famous in the first place. Harley Quinn doesn't use her signature baseball bat, for example. This makes the characters feel bland, unoriginal, and one-dimensional. Another concern we have is that players can't change characters during active missions. You can switch between characters in the middle of a task, which is one of the best things about open-world action RPGs. Fans of Suicide Squad KTL, on the other hand, won't be able to switch roles in the middle of the game like they can in Gotham Knights. Players have to wait until they are outside of active missions before they can switch roles. This means that players have to pick a character at the start of the game and stick with them for longer than they might want to. Players can't quickly switch between characters and use the whole cast to their strategic advantage because of this feature. One good team plan would be to use King Shark as a tank to draw in enemies and then quickly switch to Deadshot to snipe them from a distance. Lastly, we will talk about lack of stealth and detective prowess. Suicide Squad KTJL lost one of the most fun parts of Rocksteady's Arkham trilogy, stealth and detective work. Instead, it focused on moving around, collecting, and fighting from a distance. A big part of the fun of the previous films in the series was finding hints, solving crimes, and doing all of this without getting caught. These are all things that are connected to Bruce Wayne's past. By frustrating comparison, Suicide Squad KTJL has not only taken away the sneaking and solving crimes parts, but Rocksteady has also added basic RPG parts like stealing and getting gear scores in their place. People at sites like IGN aren't sure about Rocksteady's new direction because the previous games had sneaking and detective gaming. What are your thoughts on the concerns we discussed? Are there any additional worries or expectations you have for Suicide Squad? Kill the Justice League? Drop them in the comments below and let's start a conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and found it insightful. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis and updates on all things gaming.